The Magic Bahag by Chino Marlo Sayuno. Impapastakon ragsak, yaa ay, ela ela lay, abyong sigh between sigh, and whispers as the jeepney treads to the rough road downhill. It is only in Pasil, his hometown, where he ever has had friends, and now they are leaving the place forever. The song plays in Abyong's mind like a symphony trapped by a wall. That is his call. He tries to sleep only to be awakened by the jeepney bumps and jumps. He just then looks outside, but as the sun greets the day with its rays and warm the skin of the early morning travelers, he feels like it is bidding him goodbye, teasing him even. For him, he will never see the giant ball of warmth, no ways the ways he see from the mountain side Pasil. Wherever Tabuk will give him the same view. He does not know or care. Nana, do we really have to do this? Abyong asked his mother, holding tighter to her as the jeepney turns the curve. His mother sighed. This is only the way. We can stay in Pasil forever. There is a good opportunity for your father, and we cannot let it pass. But we're all right, aren't we? I am okay with Tata's hunt and the kamote tax. This is for the better, his mother concludes. Abyong looks away, gazing at the view of the hillside, where trees and roofs appear like par- parches of an unfinished Ceylon bituon blanket, reminding him even more of Pasil. Elalay yaa iilay. The voices of his friends resonate in his head again, bringing back their laughter after Linday. The youngest girl would jokingly belt out the last line of the song, even when she knows that singing is not her talent. But my friends, they have been my friends for years. You will not have more friends in the book. Don't worry. His mother tells him she as she ruffles his coconut husk-like hair. The, s- the school is big. You can have all the friends you want. His Nana embrace always gives him comfort. But this time, no matter how he tries, cannot get Pasil out of his head. Everything he sees and hears reminds him of Pasil. The hunts dashing on the hillside reminded him of the Binayon hut that they have for a school, which 20 pupils filled with laughter and chorus. It reminds him of the early mornings that they spent with Mrs. Legaspi as teacher volunteer from Manila, when they would read tales about the bullied skinny kid who saved the town of Encantada from the lake, who fell in love with the chieftain's son. The chirping and crickets echoed in his mind. The same harmony that used to be his only company during the hide and seek, until someone would find him camouflaged with a pool of dried leaves or hidden behind a bunch of gabi plants. The cascading rivers connects him to the splashes of water when he he and his playmates would swim and catch fish after class. The tweeting of the birds now joins that of the crickets, humming in his heart the songs he and his friends used to sing. In fact, the folk song they learned before he left keeps on resonating in his head. Abyong knows that he has to understand everything, and Nana told him, but what can he do? He is starting to hate. ay, he is starting to hate everyone even more as the view of Pasil becomes smaller and smaller. He hates those men in orange polo shirts who visit their village to recruit men who would work for the construction project in Isabela, near the boundaries of Tabuk City. He hates the elder of their little community who let the families decide on their own accord. He hates his tata for accepting the offer just because he had no other job other than hunting. When he can no longer see Patsil, tears started welling up in his eyes. He rubs them off. Nana, do I have extra shorts and I can use for school tomorrow? Abyang asked his mother, who is hanging wash clothes that Sunday afternoon. As a week after they moved to from Pasil, well, yes, his mother says. But why? You can wear your bahag. The school allows pupils to wear rumpling, ay, rumpling the end of the bag he is wearing. Abyong says. I don't want to wear my bahag. And why is that? Her mother faces me, hands on her waist, like a little taken back. Nothing, I just don't want them to laugh at me, he says, plucking out a loose thread from the bahag. They will not laugh at you, her mother assures him, as she hangs blanket and the clothesline. They will not, they would let, just like in Miss Legazpi's stories. Just please let me wear shorts, Nana. Abyong watches his bahag and t-shirt hanging by the window, fluttering as the wind blows from outside. He has been tossing and turning on their papag for almost an hour now. As she is not ready, ay, and she is not yet comfortable in their makeshift bunkhouse, his banig back home would still do better job lulling him to sleep. Aside from that, he fears tomorrow first day of class. To sleep early, His father speaks, sitting beside him. I know, Tata. I close my eyes and I can't sleep. Abyong tries, closing his eyes even harder. Let me tell you, Abyong, Tata says. You don't have to worry about tomorrow. But if you still do, then I think it's me. It's time. Time for what? Abyong forehead curls, puzzled but what his father is trying to say. His father rummages under the bed, reaching for a small box with lizard symbols prints and a padlock. Is that a present? New shorts? His father shakes his head. This is a bahag, but mind you, this is not an ordinary one. This is worn by my father and my father's father and my father's father's father. It has been passed from one generation to the next. As Tata opens the lock, Abyong pouts. He does not want to wear bahag tomorrow. Let me alone wear an old one. He thinks that the already threaded bare bahag would be stinking because it was kept inside the box for years, and Nana would have to wash it first. There's no way that he is going to wear it, not tomorrow, not ever. But the moment his father lifts the Kalinga bahag from the box, Abyong marvels. At is like it is like a treasure from a huge chest, all moldy and damp after being taken from the depths of the Encantados Lake. The bahag is like no other. The red cloth glistens before Abyong's eyes, and the patterns of black and white and yellow play in the red stream. To him, the old bahag is magical. It was when I wore this bahag I started becoming the best hunter in Pasir. I was I was a short boy and I was clumsy, not even to catch a chicken. His father shares his eyes shining with excitement. But this bahag made me become stronger and confident. There was a mysterious magic spell that cannot explain whatever. I wear this. The same happened to our forefathers when they owned this. Wow, Abyong exclaims, his eye widening. And now it is all yours, Tata says, as Abyong reaches for the family treasure. Abyong worries to turn the tail when he wakes up the another day. He takes a bath right away and wearing his new bahag. He rushes to school. He feels unexplainable energy flowing through his veins as he walks, chin up and hands swaying, even galloping by the sidewalk. This bahag is indeed magical. He tells himself, "Good morning, my name is Mika." A little girl starts off the introduction portion in their first chapter. "Hello, my name is Carlo. I am Jessica. You can call me Maria. I am John." When it was Abyong's turn, he stood up, chin up, and walked to the front like he was not a new student. "Hi, I am Ayon." Abyong introduces himself, his new self-taught nickname. Think it can help him fit in and be cool. During recess, Ayon approaches a team of boys and girls laughing while he snacks. "I want to be a hunter like Alim, the epic hero," Carlos says, showing pink-sized biceps. Well, I am the best hunter in Pasil. He butts in. May I join you? If not for the bahag, he can never talk to a big team like this. But he does it anyways. He does not feel shy at all. Hi, Ayon. Maria says. You did well in math earlier, and also in science. You recite and recite well. Now you're a hunter too? You must be the best kid in your hometown. Well, we do not have classes like this in Patil. I only took a special test so that I can be in this grade in Pasil. We have a study team and we sing and read. We even hunt sometimes, Ayan answers, mimicking a hunter ready to shoot with his imaginary bow and arrow. Wow, that's fun. Can you tell us more about it? Hardo says as their classmates gather. Aeon cannot believe that he makes a bunch of classmates laugh and listen to him on his very first day. He is an instant celebrity. He cannot believe that he does not feel the slightest glint of awkwardness. This bahag is indeed magical, he tells himself. After in the afternoon, during PE class, the boys split into two teams to play basketball. The girls cheer whenever one shoots, hooks, or blocks an opponent shoot. Aeon had barely played basketball before, but he finds himself becoming an ace player, leading the team to victory. His classmates rejoice and praise him as they lift and toss him down. He is still shocked. This bag is indeed magical, tells himself. Ang papas takon ragsak, yaa ay ela ela lay. The kids sing in chorus as they walk home after class, with arms on the shoulders of one forming one horizontal line. They laugh and sing on the top of their voices. Aeon knows the song for him. It carries the best moments. It reminds him of Butchok leading the song and Lindayo ending it out of pitch, sending everyone laughing. They then they would start all over again as they tried to perfect it. It rekindles the memories of Basil and his friends there, but now Carlo and John are singing it louder and the girls laugh because they are out of tune. It also makes him laugh, and so he reaches for John's shoulder, chanting as as loud as they do. This bahag is indeed magical, he tells himself. Hey, are you going to wear that bahag again tomorrow? John asks Aeon before turning to a different room.
Nagkabsot ng gustuhan.
Yes, why? There is nothing wrong with this. This is who we are, Aeon says. I couldn't believe I just said that. He tells himself, charging to its the powers of the bahag. Well, nothing. See you tomorrow. John runs to the others as they disperse homeward. It would still wear it. Come on, let's wear ours too. Aeon hears distant chatters of his classmates. He smiles and walks away. Nana, Nana, I can't believe it. I had a lot of friends already and the resulted in class. I was always raising my hand and I got right answers. Can you believe it? He says, hugging his mother. Tata, Tata, I was the best in class today. I even had lots of friends and they listened to my stories. Even hey, I was even the best player in basketball. He hugged his father. Thank you for the magic bag. Tata and Nana smile at him and he tells his stories. That is not a magic bahag, Abyong. His father admits. Abyong did not say anything for a while. Then he smiles and hugs his parents again, this time even tighter. That night he takes out his notebooks and lays down on his bed. One after another he changes the name written each to them into the real name. It does not need to be Aeon after all. The next day, Abyong bats early, humming his classmate chant. He takes out a fresh bahag from his drawer and wears it. He rushes to school, feeling the energy flowing through his veins. As he walks, chin up and hands swaying, even galloping by the sidewalk. He sees the sun greeting the day with its rays and warm the skin of the people walking early that morning, and he feels like this giant ball of warmth welcomes him to his new home. Done. Alive.